Welcome back. We continue live right here on Pittsburgh CW. Bob Pompeani and Gene Collier with you. Call us. We'll put you on the air and we'll talk. Jonathan Bombuli on Twitter has an interesting stat. He said when Sidney Crosby was on the ice at even strength tonight, the Penguins outshot the Capitals 17-2, but they were outscored 1-0. So 2 shots, 1 goes in, 17 no go in, and that in a nutshell, pretty much your game. But Gene, I think I was encouraged overall with how the Penguins played compared to what I saw in the last couple of home games.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, this did not look like part of a losing streak. It looks like just you know, sometimes you play these kinds of games and it doesn't work out. That's the nature of hockey, especially on the road, I think.
All right, let's begin our calls with Josiah down in San Antonio, one of our regular callers. Hey, Josiah, what's up?
Hey, Bob and Gene, how you guys doing tonight?
How are you?
Good, thanks.
Good. I just wanted to talk briefly about Boswell. I heard you and Andrew on the #1 Cochran Sports Showdown, and I kind of believe, Andrew, if you're not going to try to get Boswell replaced, why don't you bring in the kicker to maybe try to scare him to kicking right? Because, like, he kicked us all those field goals last year. Thank God it hasn't got to a point this year. It could be the total opposite, Bob. And it's a point where I think if they do get in close, it's just a matter of time before it backfires.
See, I disagree. I think I believe in that guy. He showed me enough in critical situations over his career. He's having a tough go of it in some of these things. We'll see. If it cost them games, it could have cost them a Cleveland game, certainly. But I'm not ready to do that. I think I've seen too much good in him, so I'm not ready to go in that direction. And I think if you're a coach, you have to really, at times, say, look, I believe in you. Just go out and do your job instead of going the opposite way. There's a time, you know, for that to occur. To me, Josiah, it's not now. Thanks for the call, though. Appreciate that. What's your take on that, Gene?
Pretty much the same thing. The guy won 4 games for him, I think, last year. And, you know, bringing someone in to, quote-unquote, scare the guy, you know, seems to imply that he would be making kicks if he was just concentrating. I don't think that's anywhere close to the truth. I mean, Boswell wants to make every kick. It's not through any lack of concentration. It's through some kind of mechanical flaw that he's not even aware of and nobody else can pick out. So, you know, I don't see the addition of any, you know, kind of lurking substitute to be of any benefit at all.
Yeah, and I think 99% of kickers go through stuff like this.
Yeah.
It's not going to – the only one maybe is Justin Tucker, although he missed one earlier this year, but that was more of something
No, you're
bizarre.
right. I mean, if you're suggesting there comes a point where you've got to do something, yeah, that's true.
But we haven't reached that point.
No, I don't
even think we're close.
Right.
All right, let's go to line 3. That's Mike in Bethel Park. Hey, Mike, welcome to the Sports Call. Go right ahead.
Yeah, hey, guys. Penguins did look, I think, more spirited tonight, played with purpose. It was a great game. I think they played a lot harder. I think this is going to bode well for the rest of the year. But what I'm disappointed in, I was actually looking forward to watching this game without that thug Wilson on the ice. He's like a goon. And disappointed that Malkin had to do that to kind of stoop to their level with a shot that would, you know, that's something that Wilson would do. And I would have liked to have seen the game free of that, you know.
Yeah, I mean, if we're going to call it the way we call it, and I was all for Tom Wilson, thanks for the call, man, getting what he got. But listen, if you want headshots out of the game, you cannot accept them, even if they're done by your popular players on your team. And Evgeny Malkin knew he was there. He saw him out of the corner of his eye, and he raised his elbow into his face. That is an illegal hit. It was properly called, and he will face something. But as I said to Gene, with Lucic getting 10,000 for stalking, to use Gene's word, and going after and hitting, I mean, I don't understand. They're mixed messages to me, Gene, that this league sends.
Oh, yeah. I mean, every bit of NHL discipline that comes down is unpredictable. I mean, they're all over the map. You know, it wouldn't surprise me if Malkin got nothing, if he got some kind of fine. And as I said, you know, at the top of the show, one of my favorite phrases at the top of the show, I wouldn't be surprised to see him gone for a game or 3.
Pensden on Twitter has a tweet. He says, Oshie is probably the best player in the NHL at embellishing a hit. Never forget his cross-check to Letang in the neck after the neck surgery or sucker punch Sid in the face. I remember all of those. He deserved what he got in those situations and probably more. But, hey, embellishing, the contact was made. You can embellish if you think it's embellishing. I thought it was a direct hit to his head. So you have to deal with that. Craig W. says, yeah, because usually they get targeted and chased down. Malkin was not headhunting. You may not think he was headhunting. I don't think he was actually headhunting, but I think he knew what he was doing and his shoulder got up, Gene. And again, you have to be responsible.
You measured him.
All right. Let's go line 2, David in the South Side. Hey, Dave, what's up?
Yeah, thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
I just wanted to make a comment. I seen Le'Veon Bell on the news before you came in, and it seems to me that they said that he was making the best choice for his family. To me, that would mean play football. $850,000 a game. You play football. I don't know who gave him or who told him to do that, but if it was his agent, he needs to get rid of him.
Well, let me tell you this. I know, from what I know, I'll tell you this, that I thought last year his agent advised Le'Veon Bell to sign the contract. He refused to do it.
He did.
And so he went into the season, played, right, Gene? Now this year, I don't know if the agent changed his mind or who's calling what shot, but quite frankly, it's Le'Veon's shot to call, regardless of what the agent says. If I employ you as my agent, you still have to do what I want you to do, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, all these agent-player relationships are different, but I mean, I think, as we mentioned last night on the show, I think it's kind of all running together here after 4 straight months of talking about this. There's no figuring this out, unless it's something as simple as Le'Veon Bell does not want to play. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you don't want to play, okay. But I can't think of any other explanation.
I don't know. We've tried to go through all these different explanations, and none of them make sense. So we'll see what he has until next Tuesday at 4 p.m. to make up his mind. Apparently, he's contemplating maybe signing, maybe not. Who knows? Bottom line, if he doesn't sign, he cannot play for anyone this coming season. Tony in Edinburgh. What's up, Tony? How are you? Tony?
Yes.
Go ahead. You're on the air.
Hey, yeah. I'm calling about this longtime Steeler fan from Evansburg, and I just want some insight. Why, when the Steelers have a lead in a game, and usually you want to move the ball, but you also want to run some clock, that they go to the shotgun with no running back, which increases the chances of a turnover or an incomplete pass stopping the clock. On the last game, they bought their 15-yard line, their own 15, 40-some seconds left in the game, and they went in the shotgun.
What do you want them to do? Be under center the whole time? Is that what you want?
I think when they have a lead, I don't understand the reason why.
You could run out of the shotgun. It doesn't mean you're going to throw the ball all the time. You see handoffs.
There's usually no running back, though, when they go in the shotgun.
All right. Gene, what do you think about that? Is that a problem?
Well, I don't know. I mean, the Steelers' record with a lead is pretty good. Mike Tomlin's record with a lead, say, at halftime is really, really good. Not quite as good as Bill Cowher's was. The Steelers, to me, are not a team that's known for blowing leads. I think there was some really curious play calling at Baltimore in the final minutes of the first half. I think they could be faulted for that. But as for the way they play with a lead, I don't really find a lot of fault with it.
Jason on Twitter says, what was Oshie's intent on that play? He didn't mean to make contact. A taller player shouldn't be able to defend himself from someone charging him. First of all, Oshie that he should expect to be hit. That's the way I look at that. And I also see what I see. And you can look at it 100 times if you want. You're going to see the same thing, Gene, is that he went with his shoulder up into Oshie's face. I don't know how else you can look at that.
I mean, Oshie's intent is the intent of every player on the ice. They're trying to get in people's way, get to the puck. I mean, I don't know what you want to say. You know, that's, I think, what's called a specious argument, although I'm not really sure the definition of that term. You
have to just be objective in looking at it that way. You can't look at it as a Penguin fan. If you are, you look at it as what you see, and what they see is, to me, it's a clear cut. We got to take a break. Mike, Darwin, Patrick, John, and Scott all coming up next right here, live on Pittsburgh CW.